Okay, so we got the nacelle that was blown off, and it had some what it had a while to dry, and it's looking all destroyed. I think that looks really cool, and we're ready to move on. Now the other part of the Reliant that was destroyed, if you guys remember, I think it was the Photon torpedo from the Enterprise that blew off the Photon torpedo launcher of the Reliant. You can see this structure. The model kit's going to have it built to its own entity. This whole structure is going to go, let me show you guys, it's going to go right above the back of the hull. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to build it, and then we're going to put the decals on it and detail it, and then we're going to have to destroy it, much like we did with the nacelle. So let me show you guys the parts. And you guys remember we did the silver on the inside. Now what we're going to have to do is, or at least what I want to do, is we're going to run fiber optics somewhere. And we'll take these off of the tree. Alright, we got part 23 as well. And you can see we got that right here. And that's it from this tree. And we have 103 and 104. And that would be the parts that we covered up. You can see that these are supposed to be, they're going to be red. But remember, because of the damage, these are actually going to be blackened. You can see we're going to have the impulse engines and the Photon torpedo launcher. So after all that, I'm using the 165 transparent candy apple red. I think that's going to do just nicely for the impulse engines. So let's, just like that, not a lot, and just like that, it's finished. What I want to do is we're going to put this aside to dry. Plastic fiber optics, the 0.75 millimeter. This one is a little bit larger. I want to get it larger than the ones we were using, like in the AMT kits, for the really smaller than here. You guys can see this is going to work out a lot better. And what I'm going to be using is the flickering light. And these are the 5 millimeter bulbs. These are a little bit larger. I wasn't able to find the flickering light any smaller than that. At least I wasn't able to. So we're going to be using this. And I think what we're going to have to do, alright, the way the ship is built, we're going to need the flickering lights from the LED up here and underneath. Alright, so we're going to use the bulb. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to start running some of the cables. So let's get the cable ready. Why don't we, I'm going to run a foot. So we're going to do strands of a foot just to make sure that we got enough. And I figure if I do that for the sections, we won't run out because we got more than enough. So it's going to be there. Okay, we got 10 of them. And I think we're gonna tape. All right, so I put some tape on in 4 sections because I want to make sure that they're gonna stay neat. And we're actually gonna cut them all to make sure that they're all gonna be flat and the same length. So that looks good. So just like that. And what we're gonna do, let me show you guys how we're gonna get it on. We're actually gonna take the bulb and we have the end. It's gonna go just like that. And let me show you guys how it's gonna be looking. And that's where all the damage is gonna be flickering. So you may be asking, well, how are we gonna get it? So we're gonna round this out, and I wanna show you guys, we're actually gonna put the bulb, and we're gonna make a tube out of the aluminum foil. And we're gonna put the bulb in one end, and we're gonna take the fiber optic strands, and we're gonna put that in the other end, and we're gonna wrap the tube around it. I'm gonna take some more tape, and we're gonna seal it up. We'll go ahead and cut it. There. You guys remember the top got blown off? And what we're gonna have is we're gonna have this. So see how cool that looks? So we're actually gonna have one for the nacelle that got blown off, and we're gonna have one for this section. Have to go through the top of the ship with the fiber optics. So running the fiber optic directly is going to be out of the question into the nacelle pylons because they're just too small. So we're going to have to go through the ship and put them. So we're going to cut this in half, and we're going to have 10 that's going to run through. There. So these are all even now. So we're going to have to run a section through the top of the ship, and we're going to have to run a section through the side of the ship. There. So we're going to have 20 going off the light. Going to be just like that. So we're going to have 10 in each section. Okay. Alright, so let's think about putting this section together. So, it's looking pretty good. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to put just a little bit of glue, and we're going to let it drip down into the inside. Let it run down. So let's... just like that. This side went together a little bit better, but just like that. Look at that. Perfect. So we got the 10 that are going to come through, just like that. Okay, so this has some time to dry, so it's a little better to handle now. I think we're going to use the sky blue. Everything called for the duck egg blue, but the duck egg blue really wasn't showing up all that well on the models. So why don't we go ahead and we're gonna use the sky blue. There, that looks pretty good. And now we're going to do the front section. All right, there we are. So we got one side done. There we are. So that's going to look pretty good. Again, we're going to do the corners back when we put the whole thing together and we mount it to the hull. All right, now what I want to do is I want to do the Photon torpedo launchers. There, hopefully you can see that. We still got the red. There, again, I hope you can see that. It's gonna look really cool. Okay, now we gotta let everything dry. We'll let all the paint dry. They got it where they just put some scorch marks on the decals, and basically that's gonna be the damage. But if you guys remember, in the movie, this whole section was blown off. When the Photon torpedo hit it, it actually blew it apart. What we're going to do is we're going to keep the front section and the sides. We're going to take the top off. We're going to put some frames and we're going to make it look like it was blown apart. Okay, so this had some time to dry, so I think what we should do now is we should actually put it together. So we're going to take the Photon torpedoes, launching bays off of the tree. There. All right. So we got that section on. We got this one in place. And then it all kind of snapped into position. So we got the Photon torpedo launcher in. I hope you guys can see that. And the back section is all going to be blown apart. But we're going to keep this part back is going to be destroyed and blown off. There we go. I thought I'd do it on both sides. I think it looks better. And we'll wait for that to dry. So the decals that we're going to need, we got R for Reliant, 159 and 163, 64 and 167. So we can do the tops of the 161. And I use some warm water with just a drop of dish soap for the humectant. And we got the tweezers. So this is 167. And we need 164. Alright. So, I'm thinking maybe this is looking pretty good where we could put the micro set on. Or maybe we can do that when everything's finished. Let's go over to the other side now. And we'll do the top. So R159. And we've got 163 that's going to go on the other side. Check that out. It's pretty cool. All right. There. That was pretty cool. Hopefully you guys can see that. We've got the top. Let's flip it around and show you guys the bottom. We got the bottom. And this is the back of the ship. So that's going to look pretty good. So why don't we dry it off, and we're going to put the micro set on. There, we got a nice generous coat of the micro set. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to let everything dry. And then we can have some real fun. Alright, as you can see, it had some time to dry. And the microsol does a good job in kind of wrapping the decal onto the plastic. You see the underneath. Remember, that hole's not supposed to be there. We drilled that for the fiber optics. So I think we're ready to have some fun. Go all the way through. There. Maybe we can go in just a bit. We did with the nacelle. We're going to use a paper clip. What you do is you straighten it out, and then you use a pair of pliers and get it as straight as possible. So we're going to use this for the frame. All right, just enough to put in the frame before it cools off. So let's put a little bit to solidify the frame, as well as putting the launcher section back in. See how damaged it looks now? And let's see, maybe we can let's cut these. So we're going to bend that down. And I want to put a couple of ones that would be coming up off the side. So let's cut a couple of small at the sides. There, let's put a little bit of the glue in there. I'm going to have to put a little bit more to put for the launcher itself. So what I want to do is we're going to have some damage to this section. And the more crooked it looks, the better it'll look when it's offset. So see how the torpedo launcher is offset now? It looks like it's been destroyed. And we've got some of the debris, the skin flying up. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this section just a bit. Like that. And let's take this section out. That, bring this down, there. Now see what I was going for? It was really, really damaged looking. And make sure not to break them, because if they're broken, they're not going to work. All right, so we got to keep enough room where it's still going to go down into the ship, so that looks pretty good. Hopefully you guys will be able to see that. Because we're not gonna cut them yet because we still have to paint. And I think what we'll do now is we'll start to get the paint ready. We're gonna use the black Testors paint. Hopefully you guys can check that out. And after it's done being painted, when we cut it, there'll be little specks of the light. And it'll be just enough to know that there was damage over there. Got just enough black to know that it's charred. And let's make sure all the frames that we put in are painted. That looks pretty cool. Okay, so it had some time to dry. And what I think I want to do is I think I want to cut or trim the fiber optics. And let's see, we'll do this one right about there. And this one can be here. And maybe we got a couple of damaged pieces out of there, and so hopefully you can see the, I know it's pretty light. If it was nighttime it would be better, but I just want to give you guys kind of a little taste of what it's going to look like. So I think what we're going to do next is we're actually going to think about moving on to the hull, because we're going to have to start doing the windows and putting the power supply in the ship and figuring out where we're going to put it. So my friends, I hope you enjoyed this section of the build, and until the next video, which will probably be the hull, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.